Okay, 1894, good luck. Just 16 games of Rapid and already building the rating up. You start at 1500, I think, on the new accounts. It's a relatively new account completely for my opponent. A couple of hundred bullet games, but not much Blitz or Rapid. I'm going to go G6 here. Okay, I'm going to develop. Okay, I'm going to still develop. Not sure where the knight's going to go yet. Okay, that's kind of settled now. The knight's going here. We can always potentially take and go forward, but think of the king first. But he might try and fly down the board. Now, can I just grab a pawn here, deflect him? I'm going to take and maybe go forward, I think. I could possibly go here and annoy the pawn. But I can go here potentially with a check. I can go here potentially with a check. I think I'm going to go here because it creates a double threat. Okay, so I can check and make you push a pawn. It seems sensible just to waste a couple of moves, so I'm going to do that. Okay, oh, hold on, can I go forward? Might as well stop and think about that. It is Rapid. But my queen's going to be completely offside if I go there and it turns out to be a waste of time. But queening looks like a nice nuisance move, doesn't it? Go forward with a view to simply coming in. How do you deal with it? Might be just a simple move like knight across and then there's counter threats. Queen back in castle is what I was looking at, but the pawn might fly. Here, have you got knight up? It might be just a simple knight up. Yeah, I'm just going to drop back, which was my first intention. Castle, but the pawns could fly down the board here. I say, because this is, my opponent's building a rating quite quickly with very few games. My opponent could end up being quite underrated here. Obviously, I won't know at this stage. Oh, it has indeed castled. So, I think I'm going to still castle kingside, but we could consider a pawn push. Feels a bit risky to me doing that. That feels risky. This and this. Yeah, I'm going to stick to my original plan. I can always drop the knight back if I need to. Or I can try and develop this knight, come across, bishop up. So I'm going to come up with a threat to the bishop here. Okay, so he's maybe targeting this, but we'll target his bishop. If goes back, can I grab a pawn? Possibly. So he goes back the other way. So now knight in and we hit the 2. And then we can maybe bring a pawn across. That seems like just sensible to me. Knight's come in, so allow me to take the bishop. I think I should do that. Again, this knight could be quite annoying as well, but now I can play queen back here maybe. Again, just an irritation move rather than threatening anything. Or I can try and get my bishop into play. How else do I get my bishop in play? I'm going to try and get the bishop somehow into play. Knight here right now is covered. I could even go up here with a pin and then trade my bad bishop up for a knight that could be very dangerous later in the game. White's king is very open, so it could be useful to get rid of a defending piece, and my bishop is basically stuck here doing nothing. So I'm going to go actually here and potentially trade it. Then try and keep this solid, even if I bring a knight back round. So he's broken the pin. Okay, so I'm going to trade it off because I might not get another chance to. So now I was looking at either knight up or queen up. But I've got queen up and maybe bishop up. There is this threat potentially. I'm going to go queen up with an idea rook to come behind the pawn. Then there is a threat to take. Just have to move the queen out of the way, but at least it's a threat and it's a development move. This could be very loose, of course, and lost at some point. But bishop up is a potential threat. Knight check, I can step aside. Then 2 will attack the pawn. Let's just get the cursor off the board so there's no accidental slips. Queen goes back, so that gives up a pawn. So is there any good reason for me not to take it? I don't see it. It's only a double pawn, so it's not as bad as it being a pawn on its own, but I'm going to take it. Now I'm going to try and play a rook across to pressure this pawn. One attack it and one defend it right now. Bishop goes back, so that doesn't stop it, does it? So let's just come across. We help to cover this as well. Now 2 attack and 1 defend. Again, get my cursor off the board so there's no accidental slips. But there's nothing to challenge my queen apart from my opponent's queen, and I can obviously trade it if I need to, if I make a mistake somewhere. Queen comes up to try and defend the pawn. So is a simple move like knight across actually a serious threat now? Knight here, you can't play king up. Rook across and I can crash through anyhow. So knight across looks strong to me. Knight in and I can take. Knight across, if you play knight back I can take the pawn as well. So knight across is my candidate move here. Otherwise I could try and double up, but putting a rook here, it does walk into potential checks. You can easily forget something. Rook takes, knight takes, queen takes. I don't think I've got anything, so I'm going to come across and hit the pawn. Again, only the queen can challenge my queen. Okay, the rook has gone across. Can't quite take this move, can I? So take, the queen takes. Ah, but then I've got knight check. But can you just sidestep the king? I take back and I lose my queen and I've lost a piece. Maybe. So gain a pawn, lose a rook, gain a pawn. So the king moves. That's actually checkmate. So the king steps forward. Can't I just check there and take the queen back actually? That's a chance for my opponent to go wrong then. Gain a pawn, lose a rook, gain a pawn with a check, lose a knight, gain a rook. Might not be good. No, it would just be a knight for 2 pawns. When it looks fancy, but it would just be a knight for 2 pawns. I'm just going to try and double the rooks up. I'm burning too much time here, but I think it might have been a fancy move, but it ends up just being a knight for 2 pawns, I think. Possibly a 3rd pawn. Again, so now it's not quite on anywhere. I'm going to go here with a view to bishop back and threaten the knight. Oh, have I just blundered my knight? Oh, that's careless. I've just blundered the game. I didn't see it. I simply didn't see it. Although I've got a check, but then you've got rook across. Knight takes, queen take. Yeah, I just simply didn't see that move. Oh, I've just blundered the game away. So check, rook across. I just missed the idea. So I'm going to check. I'm going to grab a pawn and come back. Oh, I'm not sure I can even come back. I mean, I can go forward, but you're crashing through maybe. I might as well go forward, create a threat. But yeah, I just missed that one move and the game's gone. Hold on, that's a pawn with check though. Now maybe another one. Have I just allowed knight takes now doing that though? Because if I play rook across now, you can take my queen. Why the heck did I do that? Oh, I really have blundered the whole game away properly here, haven't I? That's unbelievable. I cannot believe what I've just done to this game. Yeah, it's not possible to survive this. So we're just a clean rook down, aren't we? Queen, rook, bishop, queen, rook, rook, bishop. I've got 3 pawns for rook, but that's not going to be anything like good enough. If I could have the bishop planted and supported by pawns, maybe, but you can always just sack to blast the king's defences open here, and pawn's well up on the clock as well. Yeah, get the cursor off the board, just let my opponent worry about their move. Goes for the check, so that's my only legal move. The bishop takes is strong. Queen just grabbing a pawn looks strong. Indeed, that's what you do. I don't think there's any sensible moves here at all, is there? I don't see any moves at all whatsoever. I'm just going to chuck a pawn because I can't find a move. Everything's winning here for white, barring a really calamitous blunder. Maybe I can put the queen on a square just to threaten some sort of check if the pieces wander off, but I don't see it anywhere right now. I mean, bishop up is very strong. Queen back threatens to take. But yeah, there's nothing here. Just chuck a pawn because I just can't see any moves. So bishop takes. So we'll push the pawn. But yeah, I've long since mentally switched off this one. Let's just see. That's all it takes in chess. Just one simple missed move and the whole game's gone. I guess just a move like bishop back and queen, that sort of idea if my rook wanders off and then the diagonal can't be defended. Or even bishop back and queen here, forcing the queen off. Obviously, if it was a shorter time control, I'd just have already resigned the game. Just play on a few moves, but it's, you know, it should be impossible a game like this. My opponent can just literally sack a rook for the bishop, just shift the bishop out of the way, then rook takes bishop, and I'm still miles down and still completely lost and the king's wide open. Yeah, that's what you're lining up there. So what do we do? I'm going to play queen back just as a pretend we have a defense, but we don't really. Yeah, there's nothing here, is there? Let's go forward. But you know, even if you trade queens, I'm a clean rook down. I can't see any way to defend that. And a minute down on the clock. Yeah, just pile the pressure on. Yeah, there's no defenses there. Rook across. Let's take. And if I move out the way now, you've just got rook check. Yeah, I can't be bothered with that one.